So it was tough, but I'm really proud of our coaches and our players. We did a lot of good things tonight, but you got to win these tight games, and oftentimes that's a reflection on the head coach.
Jon Gruden throwing down the note cards and ad-libbing. He got philosophical. The hell with these note cards. I'm going to say what I want to say. It's a reflection on the head coach.
That's my favorite, especially when like someone gets busted for steroids and they have the note cards. Like, you know what? I'm going to speak from the heart. I'm going to just give it to you right from here, folks.
It's easy to say it's a reflection on the head coach when Mark Davis isn't going to fire his best buddy, the head coach. You can say that. I take full responsibility because I know I'll never have to take full responsibility. I am good to go indefinitely as the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. So following up on that theme, and again, please, Raiders fans, we're trying to help you here. We want you to have eventually good things. We want you to have Super Bowl trophies in time. The Raiders actually a very long time ago were my initial favorite team for a very important reason. I had a small Raiders helmet that had a pencil sharpener inside of it, so I liked the Raiders. I don't know where I got it. It just showed up one day, but that's how you're influenced when you're 4 years old.
That was a sick story, Mike.
I knew you would like that.
The Autumn Wind is a Pirate is one of the greatest like NFL films ever. You know, that intro and the song, that's the best. So I'd agree with you. There is the mystique, the black mustache. Yeah, I want the Raiders to be good. The Raiders are a team that I root for to be good because it does feel like there's the historical relevance, and also it just feels like everything's more fun when the Raiders are good. And I want Jon Gruden to be good. I do, because I think the NFL would be a more fun place, to a better league overall if Jon Gruden's in high-stakes playoff games. I do.
All right, let's play this game then, and it's going to be quick, and there are three options: yes, no, or push. Is Jon Gruden a better coach than? I want your first thought after each name, and we may get through all of them if we can move fast enough. Andy Reid, yes, no, push.
No, come on.
All right, I agree with you on that. Let's stay in the division. Vic Fangio.
No, I'm a big Vic Fangio guy, and that's probably my bias because I watched him coach the defense for the Bears for a few years there. Vic Fangio as a head coach, jury's still out. He doesn't have a quarterback. Jury's still out. But Vic Fangio is, if he is not a head coach next year, he is the best defensive coordinator in the NFL. If Jon Gruden's not a head coach next year, he's on TV. So I would say that Vic Fangio is a better coach.
Okay, just so we're clear, you've got two no's. I'll agree with you on the first no. I say push on Vic Fangio. Anthony Lynn.
He's a better coach than Anthony Lynn. I think Anthony Lynn...
I'll agree with you.
Yeah, Anthony Lynn's
was
a nice
12-4
guy.
2 years ago.
Anthony Lynn's a nice guy. He's got a very talented roster, and it feels like the coach is keeping that roster from really excelling. Whereas Gruden, there's some roster issues on defense, which we mentioned in the first segment, that part of that is Gruden's fault, but he also has I would take the Chargers roster over the Raiders, and the Raiders have a better record, so therefore Jon Gruden is a better coach.
I think you're onto something there. I think Jon Gruden would do tremendously better with the Chargers than he's done with the Raiders if you just swap the players between the two teams. So I'll agree with you. Better coach than Anthony Lynn. Mike Vrabel, yes, no, push.
No, not even close.
Frank Reich, yes, no, push. I agree with you. Frank Reich, yes, no, push.
No, not even close.
Okay, I agree with you on that one. Your guy Doug Marrone, this is a dilemma for you. You're conflicted here. You may have to recuse yourself from this one. Yes, no, push.
I'll go push. I'll go push and be fair. I'll go push. I think Doug Marrone's a really a good coach. I think he's got there's a rebuild going on. Things fell apart pretty quickly in Jacksonville, but I think Doug Marrone. There's a reason why Doug Marrone got another year after last year. I think he's well liked. He's a good coach, so I'll go push.
I'll say Gruden's better. I think Marrone's biggest flaw was the failure to really take over and assert himself when they brought Tom Coughlin in and Coughlin screwed everything up. I think at some point Marrone needed to tell Coughlin, get the hell out of my locker room. I'm the coach of this team. And that's what's triggered this death spiral for the Jaguars. Mike Tomlin, I think we both can say
not even close.
No.
Yeah, Mike
right?
Tomlin's
John Harbaugh, no. John
No.
Harbaugh, no. Kevin Stefanski, my vote right now for Coach of the Year.
Yeah. Oh, okay. No, I would not say that Jon Gruden is better than Kevin Stefanski. Now, this is obviously, people will try to throw back in my face. Jon Gruden won a Super Bowl. Jon Gruden had a nice run in Tampa Bay. We're talking about right now. Who would you take as your coach right this second? I would absolutely take Kevin Stefanski over Jon Gruden.
All right. And look, this can't be a complete and total Jon Gruden blowout because Zach Taylor is coaching the Cincinnati Bengals. I assume you'll say, yes, Gruden is better than Taylor.
Yeah, but the Bengals are still kind of fighting, and they've had no one. They have absolutely no one. I put a lot of merit in a team that doesn't give up when they're really, really bad. And the Bengals, like if you look at the Bengals and the Jets, or even the Jaguars, throw in the Jaguars, like Doug Marrone and Zach Taylor, their teams haven't given up. The Jets have. So I'll give you that Jon Gruden's a better coach than him just on resume alone. But I've been watching that Bengals team and Zach Taylor, and like the fact that they're feisty with playing with just like maybe the worst roster at this point in the NFL, that says something to me.
My biggest problem with Zach Taylor and the Bengals is they didn't do enough to protect our guy, Joe Burrow. They knew or should have known this guy plays on the edge. You've got to protect him. You've got to coach up your offensive linemen. You've got to get better offensive linemen. You've got to protect this guy. And they didn't.
They also had a lot of injuries.
I know.
They had a lot of injuries on the offensive line. I think like 2 weeks into the season, they were already on 4 out of 5 offensive linemen weren't day one starters. So I know injuries aren't an excuse, but there were a lot of injuries on that offensive line this year.
There was also an element of nonchalance from Taylor after Burrow got his knee destroyed that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So I'm going to go yes to Gruden on that one. We're cycling now to the AFC East, and I think we can make quick work of 3 of the coaches: Bill Belichick, Sean McDermott, Brian Flores. It's a no, it's a no, it's a no.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And then Adam Gase. Jon Gruden is better than Adam Gase.
Yeah, way to go out on a limb there. Let's go to the NFC West. And one of the reasons, this is one tangible piece of evidence I pointed to when I wrote up my take last night that Jon Gruden is being judged by a different standard than other coaches. Gruden came in, and what's he done? Well, we need to give him time. Well, Sean McVay came in for a team that hadn't had a winning record in 13 years, and he was instantly 11-5, and then the next year he was in the Super Bowl. So Gruden's protege, Sean McVay, no-brainer. No-brainer.
No-brainer.
McVay's the better coach, right?
Yeah, no-brainer. And you're talking about Kyle Shanahan, and for doing the NFC West as well. He came into a situation where the 49ers were truly, truly bad. And remember, they were 1-10, and he rattles off 5 wins. That's a team that didn't quit on him. Kyle Shanahan, he is one of the best coaches in the NFL, absolutely.
We may have a clean sweep here in the NFC West. Pete Carroll. Cliff Kingsbury, what do you say? What, Kingsbury?
I'm not a Cliff Kingsbury believer. I think he is holding back the Cardinals and Kyler Murray. I do. I truly do.
Why?
I just think that I think his play calling is pretty unimaginative. I think Kyler Murray to basically be that offense to work, Kyler Murray has to run too much. And Kyler Murray should run because he's good at running. But if you look at the numbers, like, they don't do well when he has to be in the pocket. So I think they're a little bit one-dimensional in that respect. I think his in-game coaching hasn't been great. That what was the game where he tried to kick a field goal? I don't even know. I was so mad about it. I probably had a bet on it. What was it?
The Dolphins game? Dolphins?
The Dolphins game. Yes, the Dolphins game. It was I can't say the word. I call it chicken S football. When you basically are playing not to lose, not playing to win. I get vibes of that from him. And I think the Cardinals, I actually would say the Cardinals, the reason why the Cardinals are kind of in the mix here is a lot more to do with Vance Joseph than it does Cliff Kingsbury. How about that take?
See, That's a good take. And now I'm playing my own game of, is this because he refuses to come on, pardon my take, or is this some sort of a reverse psychology aimed at getting him to come on, pardon my take? If you bash him enough, he'll come on, so you'll stop.
Usually my opinions are based on losing a few bets in a row, betting on a certain coach, and then it's just cast in stone until they can reverse it with a fortune of luck. But I do actually believe this. I think Vance Joseph has done a great job with that defense. I think Cliff Kingsbury has a ton of talent on that offense, and they have had moments this year where, they correct themselves against the Giants. Again, more Vance Joseph than Cliff Kingsbury. If you watch that Giants game, that defense was fantastic. And they were doing kind of a Jon Gruden here, Mike. They were 4 out of 5 games, and the one win they had was the Hail Mary against the Bills. They were fading here down the stretch. I don't know if they'll be able to finish it off these last 3 games, but that's a fact.
Like you said earlier, with the Raiders thinking they won the Super Bowl when they played the Chiefs close on Sunday night, the Cardinals thought they won something when they did the Hail Mary play, and they just fell off the face of the earth for 3 games after that. All right, I think we're going to have a clean sweep here, in part because one of the teams doesn't have a permanent head coach yet. NFC South, Sean Payton, Bruce Arians, Matt Rule. Have we hit all 3 on the slot machine? I
would say push with Bruce Arians.
Wow.
I'm not a big...
That may require a full segment.
Look, I like Bruce Arians. We've had him on part of my take. So here's showing that I am not completely biased all the time. I think what Bruce Arians has done with the Bucs this year has been an abomination to bringing in Tom Brady. The entire reason you bring in Tom Brady is to let Tom Brady be Tom Brady, and they have done the exact opposite. The fact that we're sitting here in December and we still don't really know what the Bucs are, and how many times have we heard, Mike, do the Bucs have one of the most, the best rosters in the NFL, and they have all these weapons. I think Bruce Arians, and listen, I'm not trying to make all these enemies, but Bruce Arians is the QB whisperer, right? Who is he whispered with? Peyton Manning, number 1 pick overall. Carson Palmer,
it's not like you're drawing
overall.
It's not like you're drawing out a great performance from Rich Gannon.
It's kind of easy to be a QB whisperer when all your QBs are top 10 picks.
Yeah, and that's where I have to give Jon Gruden credit. I mean, at one point, Rich Gannon was out of the NFL before he became the guy that Gruden crafted into an MVP after Gruden left for Tampa Bay.
It's a push. I'm not saying that Bruce Arians is worse. I'm just saying Bruce Arians, I think the Bucs are being, again, it's similar to kind of the Cardinals. The Bucs are poised to go to the playoffs. I think, though, that Bruce Arians, his coaching this year has held back the Bucs. They should be better than, they should let Tom Brady slice and dice teams like he always has, 10-play drives, instead of taking these shots deep and trying to be something they're not. The best coaches in the NFL play to the strengths of their roster. They don't try to just say, well, this is my scheme and we're doing it. They say, well, this is your strength. Let me fix what my playbook looks like to your strengths and get the most out of it. I think Jon Gruden does that with Derek Carr. I don't think Bruce Arians does that with Tom Brady.
What's driven me crazy about Arians this year, and I'll go ahead and agree with your push, Arians has not let Brady be Brady and then tried to blame everything that's gone wrong on Brady and criticized him nonstop. And then this week, Arians says, I don't know why everyone's criticizing Tom Brady. I don't get it. All right, NFC East. We got to go quick because we're running out of time here. Ron Rivera, yes, no push?
Yes. He's better.
Yes, he's better?
Yeah, he's better than
Rivera is.
No, Rivera's better.
Okay, so
Sorry.
it's no.
Oh, so no.
So it's no. So it's no. Remember, it's no. Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have
better.
reset it properly.
Rivera's better. Judge is better. Mike McCarthy is a push. And then, who am I forgetting? Doug Peterson is a push.
Doug Peterson. Yeah.
Is also a push.
Doug Peterson. I'm going to say push with Judge. Gruden's better than McCarthy. I'm going to say push with Judge. Too early on Judge. Push with Judge.
Wrong.
Better than McCarthy. And no on Peterson and Rivera. All right, last but definitely not least, the NFC North. Let's make quick work of 3 of the teams before we get to the last one. Matt LaFleur, obviously, Jon Gruden's not better. Agreed?
Yeah, I'll agree. Begrudgingly.
All right, Mike Zimmer.
Mike Zimmer is better than Jon Gruden.
Okay, we can skip over the lines because they don't have a coach. Now, here we are. We've arrived. The team that picked up Khalil Mack, Matt Nagy was coach of the year in 2018. It hasn't worked out well since then. Who's the better coach between Matt Nagy and Jon Gruden? You know, this was a long segment just to ultimately bring you to this point. Who's the better coach? Your coach or Jon Gruden?
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint everyone, but the answer to me is a push, and they both stink. That's really what it comes down to. So I don't trust either of those coaches to make wise decisions. But yeah, that's really the answer. Like, if you told me the Bears fired Matt Nagy and hired Jon Gruden, I would be like, well, that probably is going to be more of the same. So that tells me it's a push.
It's funny because when Sims and I argued about this yesterday, because Sims is a big Gruden defender, I told him I think it's called Stockholm Syndrome, but I said tomorrow we got to get Big Cat to tell us what he thinks of Gruden versus Matt Nagy. So this entire thing, which was fun, it was all leading up to getting your opinion on Gruden versus Nagy, and I agree with you. It is a push. It is a push. But you know what? Hey, but here's the thing. It highlights our point. Any other coach doing what Jon Gruden is doing would at least be the subject of discussion about whether or not he's going to get fired when Black Monday rolls around in just a couple of weeks.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.